All right, thanks for joining us once again on AM Rockland's News. I'm your host, Tom Osa, and here is the news for this morning. And we already had a guest on the show. We had Diana Hess and Sarah Trowers from Joanio, and they were talking about the Brick It Again event that is going to be happening over on the main Joanio campus on Saturday, September 20th. We're going to have that interview in just a few moments. But first, let's get into the news, traffic, weather, and all that fun stuff. First of all, right now it's 73 degrees and all sunny. That's a beautiful thing. Hopefully, it's not going to be as humid as it was yesterday. It was like, I mean, the humidity, it said it was like about 85%, but I think it was like 743% humidity. That is not a scientific number at the moment. Anyway, today it's going to be, first of all, it's Friday. And secondly, it's going to be 84 degrees and mostly sunny. Perfect weather for tonight's concert over at the Nanuet Town Center. The Nanuet Summer Concert Series will conclude tonight with the fantastic jazz, funk, and fusion bands, KQ and the Sound Trip. And they will be starting at 7:30. It's a free concert in support of Rockland Music Fest, September 27th over at Clover Stadium, with the headliner band's Magical Mystery Doors playing Doors, Beatles, and Zeppelin tunes, plus 9 other bands that will be performing, local bands, hip hop, rock, all sorts of different styles of music, and all local bands will have vendors and several stages. Proceeds to Meals on Wheels Rockland, celebrating 50 years of service to the community. And let's get into the news. First of all, unfortunately, some sad news for Rockland County as well as Hudson Valley tradition lovers. Bear Mountain Oktoberfest has been officially canceled for 2025. That ends a 34-year consistent run. Now, the festival, which drew thousands for food, music, and fall fun, was a beloved autumn fixture in the Hudson Valley. Organizers quietly pulled the plug earlier this year, and really there's no signs of a comeback at the moment. I don't know if they'll get another organizer or whatever have you, but it leaves a cultural and economic void. Locals are encouraged to check out other fall events like the Haverstraw Eats and Beats food crawl on September 14th, Rockland Music Fest on September 27th, and let's not forget, up in Stony Point, Family Fun Day on October 4th. But before that Family Fun Day happens, there is a retail crisis in Stony Point that is occurring this summer due to the 9W construction. The town of Stony Point is grappling with a retail crisis as local businesses report revenue losses of up to 75% from ongoing construction along Route 9W by Orange and Rockland Utilities and the pipeline that is being installed by the Champlain Hudson Power Express. Town Supervisor Jim Monahan has appealed to state officials, calling for immediate relief and better coordination between the two entities, Orange and Rockland and Champlain Hudson, because basically what's happening is Chippy, that's the acronym for Champlain Hudson. It's a 339-mile pipeline that's going from Canada all the way down to New York City, and it's being placed in and out of the Hudson River, and in certain locations it's coming up on Route 9W. It shouldn't have been on Route 9W, except a local organization or two might have protested about it in a way that Chippy couldn't legally get around. So they had to rework the plan. And then once Albany blessed it, there was no other choice but to just endure this. But they are doing what they can, in my opinion. They have been coordinating back and forth. And I'll address the issue personally over at local town hall meetings in October, especially with certain local advocacy groups that have really grinded my gears over the last 10 to 12 years. The nearly round the clock work is disrupting access to businesses and exhausting residents. And as mentioned, Chippy responded, citing long term economic benefits and a $31 million community fund. But for now, business owners are just trying to survive the traffic, the dust, and the disruption. And we'll have more about that over the course of the rest of this summer. Moving over to Orangetown. Orangetown moves to block the short-term pool rentals. The town of Orangetown is taking legal action against alleged short-term rental violations at 4 Hobbs Drive in Blauvelt. Officials say the outdoor pool area has been repeatedly rented in violation of local laws. The town board has authorized legal proceedings in Rockland County Supreme Court seeking an injunction to halt future rentals. The investigation is ongoing, and the town has declined further comment for now. Clarkstown has officially renamed Chauncey Street in Congers to honor Al Magnotta, a 100-year-old World War II veteran and community legend. A lifelong Rockland resident, Al has been a firefighter since 1946 and served over 40 years as deputy fire coordinator for Rockland County. The street dedication recognizes his unparalleled legacy of service, leadership, and hometown pride. And finally, at 6:30 a.m. yesterday, early risers swarmed to Chick-fil-A's grand opening in Nanuet on Thursday morning, August 14th, with some fans arriving literally at 10 p.m. the night before. Yes, this must be fantastic chicken. And we did have an interview with franchisee Ellie Kim. She's a Rockland native. She was thrilled by the turnout in the morning, and the turnout was around the block. Rockland News was there at 6:15 in the morning to watch the grand opening. And I have to tell you, and it's a little scary, again, we're only like about 5 years into this whole news processing business, and I hope we're doing a good job. I know we have our friends. I know we have our enemies. I don't like to think of them as enemies. I like to think of them as fuel. Yeah. That being said, yesterday was a joyful experience just watching like this whole thing happen. And they had people dressed up as cows at this thing. And, we were there 6:15 and everything. I opened up the stats for this morning for all the stuff that we posted on social. We wrote a story. We have the interview coming out later on today. So far, at least on Facebook and the story views, 199,000 views. What the heck? I mean, I like Chick-fil-A, don't get me wrong, but like, wow. It's like, all right. Look, the news is the news. That's the only thing I could say. And we're very happy that Chick-fil-A is obviously there. Very, very nice people that are running it, the franchise owner and the people that are there that are taking care. They're also employing approximately 100 people because of the opening of this restaurant. And I think that's something that for some reason seems to get lost in translation a lot. That these larger companies are employing a large number of people. And I think that is something admirable and something to be noted. Small business, medium business, large business, whatever way you want to call business, it is the backbone of American society. And dare I say, I hope that it stays that way. Local leaders were present for the ribbon cutting of Chick-fil-A, and few settled a lighthearted bet over whether Clarkstown or Orangetown would land the coveted Chick-fil-A franchise. And spoiler alert, Clarkstown won this one chicken biscuit at a time. But Orangetown is doing quite well. For instance, DataBank came in a few months ago, and that is a fantastic thing for tax ratables in Orangetown. In other news, so the Rockland Boulders, the New York Boulders split their Thursday doubleheader with the Tri-City Valley Cats at Clover Stadium, losing game 1 7-2 before walking off with a 5-4 win in the nightcap. New York is now 44-35, started the 7th and last inning of game 2 with back-to-back singles from center fielder Ryan Vogel and shortstop Austin Dennis, who delivered a textbook hit-and-run grounder that moved Vogel to third base and allowed him to score on a line drive single over the drawn-in infield by rookie second baseman Kyle Hess, who collected his first career walk-off hit and made a first-time winner of Grady Gorgon, who's now 1-0 after the rookie left-handed pitcher pitched a perfect top of the 7th. It was a game the Boulders led 3-0 in the third inning, got caught in the third, and then went ahead in the fourth on a leadoff home run by third baseman Santino Rosso, only to be tied up again in the top of the 6th. New York also had an early lead in the opening game of the Twin Bill as Dennis drilled his third leadoff homer in a 5-game span. But Tri-City, who's now 49-30, erupted for 7 runs over the second, third, and fourth inning as left-handed pitcher Isaac Rode saw all 4 walks he allowed come around to score. The Boulders start a 3-game series against the Ottawa Titans tonight, Friday, at Clover Stadium with the first pitch scheduled for 7 p.m. New York leads their Northern Division rivals by 3.5 games in the battle for the final Atlantic Conference playoff spot. And all New York Boulders games, home and away, are streamed on FrontierLeagueTV.com, and that's powered by the Home Team Network. For subscription information, visit FrontierLeagueTV.com. We also want to thank our many sponsors for Rockland's News: Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, 99 Signs, 202 Cannabis located in Garnerville, New York, Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realty, Lauren Molino Muller, Howard Hanna Rand Realty, Kobe Sushi. They have a new music and jazz lounge that opened at the end of May. We were there for Mike Torres performing this past Wednesday night, and we're going to have an exclusive interview with the renowned jazz and improv artist. Also, Clean Space Maintenance and Management Company. If you need your home remediated of a bunch of clutter that you just got to get rid of, contact Clean Space Maintenance Management at cleanspacemmc.us. Sparkling Clean Homes. Get your house cleaned for just $199. Call 845-641-3223. Ask for Alice. St. Thomas Aquinas College, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, Outsource My IT, Fiesta Acapulco, the Patriot Lounge with music every weekend, FZ Perfection, Banchetto Restaurant, North Rockland Chiropractic, Dr. Anna Marie. I got to come in for an adjustment. I just do. Stony Point Pancake Factory, meetings happening soon regarding several matters. And Rockland Music Fest coming to Clover Stadium September 27th with our headliner bands Magical Mystery Doors playing Led Zeppelin, Doors, and Beatles music, plus 9 other local bands that you will just know and love, concessions, food trucks, and vendors, plus games for the kids, multiple stages. Proceeds to Meals on Wheels Rockland, and you can get your tickets right now at rocklandmusicfest.com. That's rocklandmusicfest.com, September 27th. And yes, we're working on that. We only have 43 days left to that concert, and we are not nervous whatsoever. Totally not nervous at all. But we got some great people that work with us, and we're really happy to be working with them. All right, so that's all we have for AM Rockland News right now. Later on, we're going to be releasing the podcasts on the Rockland News Week in Review for several different things. First of all, Bruce Leach from the Hudson Valley Radio Control Club. They had the event last week with the Radio Control Show down in Haverstraw. We're also going to have an interview with Joseph Barada, who is a realtor, JB Barada Realty and Company. He has so many different agents that work with him. And he's been in it for like about a good 30 years, something like that, in construction, the residential home industry. And he just launched his 3rd book, and we're going to have an interview with him. We'll also have our weekly interview with County Executive Ed Day. He's going to tell us about the corrections officer program that's coming up, the test, and several other guests and events. Plus, we'll have a conversation with our friend Mike Kluger, who is our co-host on Wednesdays, and he is the yin to my yang. I'm trying to get him on more days per week, but slowly but surely, right? Anyway, thank you, everybody that's been listening to this podcast and live stream. If you're interested in getting this to be a household name, share it along with your friends. If you see it on Facebook, hit the share button, post it on your timeline, say we got some interesting content and everything like that. Certainly, if you see it on LinkedIn or on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, in all those locations we are, please share those links out. We really want to get the word out, and we want to do it in a way that's just really Rockland organic. I guess that's the way I could say it. Kind of goofy. I wish Mike was here so that he can rein me in. But that's all right now for AM Rockland's News. I'm your host, Tom Osa. Thanks for joining us this morning, and stay tuned.